In this lecture, we'll make a conclusion on what we learned so far in JavaScript and how to use all of the things that we learned. Alright, so first of all, we learned about the basics of JavaScript, which every beginner is supposed to know, as this course is targeted like towards beginners. So yeah, we already talked about all the basic things. We talked about like the introduction of JavaScript, its history, why do we use it, and what are the things in JavaScript which we can use to increase the efficiency of our website. If we have to add the dynamic functionality, then we have to use JavaScript, as we are limited in HTML and CSS. So for any website, as you may already know, like any website built with HTML and CSS is pretty static. It's not that dynamic, and we need to add like JavaScript to give it some dynamism, to give it some energy, to give it some animations. All right, so for putting dynamic functionalities, we have to use JavaScript. Yeah, so we learned also about variables. Then we learned about the basic concepts of JavaScript, which were the data type, the loops, how many types of loops we have, how do loops work, the statements, how to use the data types and arrays, what are the methods in arrays, the numbers, the strings. Alright, so the methods and the numbers are very useful. For example, if we have to make a calculator, then the methods of number will definitely be used. We learned about like how to use the objects, and after that we try to understand the DOM model. In the DOM model, we learned that all the things from which we can use our selectors, how we can target our HTML DOM, because DOM is usually used like mostly in the scripts in which you have query selector. So we learned how to target the child or the parent, how we can do styling in JavaScript. In short, we can say that we learned every basic concept in it. Alright, so when you make a basic website, then all these basic concepts will be used for the construction of whatever feature you need. If you look at all these basic methods, then you can say that most of them can be used to make, for example, a calculator. Like if you're making any calculation, or if you're adding any add validation, then these methods will be used if you're adding a validation, for example. So after that, how can we do the styling? By using JavaScript, because there's a huge difference between the CSS styling and JavaScript styling. So with the help of JavaScript, you can do like much more animated stuff. Alright, so then when we work on more advanced level things, then this time the styling will be used, but the methods will be also helpful because they are quite advanced. For example, we can do the sliders and animations in CSS, but we stay specific in that animation. Like if we have to make anything in our text, like if we want to have a dynamically animated text, which is typing by itself, we can do it in CSS, but it's way too difficult, way too convoluted, because we have to make lots of divs and lots of animations and lots of lines of code. But in JavaScript, it's so easy to do it, and we can do it in just like 4 to 5 steps. Alright, so I definitely recommend you not to make your websites from scratch. You should add some frameworks to it, like for example React, Angular.js. So you need to use these frameworks, and later on, like the more you learn about JavaScript and web development and all of these things, you will get to know them much more. Because by using framework, you can save your time, and the work will be so much faster, and it will meet the market demand immediately instead of building things from scratch. Alright, yeah, basically like most of the clients suggest a certain framework for the developer. They have some predetermined ideas sometimes and want to use a certain framework. You just have to keep these things in your mind while making any project and while building any website. Alright, I'd recommend you to keep coding, like keep trying the codes that we did here so that you have them on your fingerprints. But if you suddenly move to the next topic without doing any practice, then of course it will be so much more difficult to you, and you'll forget about like most of the concepts we learned here, and it will take you some time to go back and forth to review what we learned, and then trying to learn more advanced stuff later on. So yeah, before jumping to any advanced topic like React.js or Angular or Vue.js or whatever more advanced topic is on your mind, try to master the basics and review what we studied in this course together. For example, if you move to the DOM model without doing enough practice of the loops, then you will come back to the loops and review like what are the loops about and how do they work, and you will forget the syntax. That's why before moving on to like more advanced topics, always practice with some smaller exercises and review the basics from time to time. Alright, so I'll advise you to use loops in your DOM models so that you can revise them and make sure that you have a good understanding and a good foundation of the loops as well, not just the DOM model. Alright, so that's pretty much it for JavaScript. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for going through this course. And until next time, I wish you all the best and good luck in your journey.